People, Deluded, I'm back again. Good morning, and I hope you're all doing well and safe. Now, obviously from an Arsenal current perspective, short-term perspective, we won 3-2 against Everton, and I think top four race is out of our control, clearly, and is a task too high for us. But you have a chance, and at least until you have a chance, you have to give your all. In relation to players currently playing away from Arsenal at the moment and trying to develop away from the club, I thought I'd offer some opinions. Now, firstly, Saliba. Saliba obviously drew 1-1 Saint-Etienne against Reims, and it was a different sort of game in that there weren't too much for him to do, but when he was asked, he did it. For what I really liked with this game is it weren't a game where if you're looking for highlights reels and his best defensive actions and, you know, all them welcome to Arsenal Saliba clips on YouTube, it's not going to be there. But what I liked is his reading of the game. He anticipated danger several times before it happened, put in smart little blocks, cleared balls. There was one time what I really liked, the attacker was ruled out for offside, but he wasn't obviously to know. Ball comes in from the left-hand side, and his reading of the game allows him to get there before the striker, and he did a little header. And it was, like I said, it was eventually ruled out for offside. But at that moment, he's not to know. You have seen him play in a back three, play on the left-hand side of centre-half and play on the right, obviously a lot of the time, but he played on the right of the back four today. And I believe him and Debussy doubled up very well with any threats out wide, really. I wouldn't say it was a low scoring, well, it was a low scoring affair, but a low opportunity affair, but there weren't really quality of chances. They weren't really the team to be scrutinised as much. Reims have a good defensive statistics in Liga, I'm sure, not so much offensively. But Saliba dealt with everything he needed to deal with. He showed his passing on a couple of occasions. For me, it was his reading of his game and anticipation of danger, because that's what you want to hear as a defender. And I think he did that very well, and they deserved a clean sheet, people. He bailed out his teammates a couple of times with some important blocks. He was pulled out into the channels a couple of times by the opposition's midfielders, and he coped with that threat. And him and Saint-Etienne deserved a clean sheet. Obviously, in the last couple of moments, former Arsenal player, because we was always linked with him, MV brought down the opposition man for a penalty, and they score in added time or whenever it was, or just before the end of the game, and it was a bit controversial. But I think Saliba gave a good account of himself, and I believe the key is the thing I was scared of. Maybe if Saliba came last season, this season with Emre and a lack of structuring, is that you don't want defense. Like, you've seen a couple of players thrive in madness. Like, young players are just thriving and standing up to be counted. Like when Guendouzi was in good form, because we're in disarray. I wanted him to come into a team that has a bit of structure defensively and whatnot. So, because he is going to make mistakes, he does need to be protected, and he is still developing. I'm confident to see him under Arteta because there's a greater emphasis defensively. There's actually a system for that young man to slot into, and yeah, I'm really keen to see what he's going to do with Saliba next season, man, because he does look like quite a player. In relation to a couple of other players that are on loan at this moment in time, people, I never watched the game, but Mavropanos has, if you watch the highlights, all the games in the second division in Germany, is having quite a decent loan spell. Apparently, he went down injured in the 10th minute. He tried to keep going, but he was substituted in the 13th minute. I don't know the severity of that injury. Mkhitaryan got an assist for Roma. Don't know why I'm mentioning that. Ben Shafe, who scored his first career goal, I believe, last fixture, played 81 minutes for Doncaster Rovers. Emil Smith-Rowe, who was rested and came off the bench, forgive me if I'm wrong, against Derby, came off the bench for 30-odd minutes against Huddersfield Town. And that was actually one big talking point. Fans and pundits were saying, why didn't he start? Clearly, he's had a lot of games to play. Crowley has kind of said it's a fitness thing. Not about today, but they need to wrap him in cotton wool. And while it's frustrating for Emil not to play, because away from him being a youngster, he's one of the difference makers for Huddersfield. I trust Daniel Crowley at Huddersfield Town because he's utilised so far Emil in the best way he can. And he really, very rarely the managers back up their chat when they get a temporary player, and he has. So if he doesn't feel best to use him, then cool. I did feel when Emil came on, couple of decent touches, couple of positive runs, really didn't affect the game because there's not long enough to, but it is what it is in that regards. They lost 3-1, people. They did equalise at a moment. Osei 2-2 for Busham, who a couple of times when I've tried to watch him, he's not even been in the matchday squad. He played the final 12 minutes of their last game. Joseph Olewu, who went to Cork City, had a night to forget as they lost 6-0 to Shamrock Rovers. I didn't watch it, but a couple of people I speak to and the reviews I read, not just him, but they had a tough night at the office. And of course you would if you're a centre-half and you've lost 6-0. He's gone out to get senior football, and that's what you want to see from him. I don't think there's anything else in that regards, people. I don't think there's anything else to speak about in that regards. In terms of statistics, Saliba made 37 passes, passing accuracy of 92%. He won 1 tackle, I'm not too sure that's correct. He made 4 interceptions, 9 clearances and 1 aerial challenge won. And yeah, it was unfortunate not to keep a clean sheet because of what happened in added on time. But away from that, there's not really much to add on or much to expand on, people. So I'm going to keep it moving. On that note, as usual, you know your custom and you lot's nice wishes when you lot come to my channel means a lot. Thank you very much for your positive comments. But for now, I'm going to get out of here. Deluded.